Funky Dineva is now weighing in on the ongoing controversy surrounding Claressa Shields after Papoose publicly suggested she was more deserving of a BET award than Asia Wilson. That comment alone stirred plenty of reaction, and now the conversation has taken on a whole new layer. Welcome back to Shadery. I'm Marcus Hale, and I appreciate you tuning in because there's a lot to break down today. Music. Our focus this time lands on Claressa Shields, who has found herself on the receiving end of no shortage of labels online, all tied to her association with Papoose. Depending on who's doing the caulking, she's been called everything from his mistress to his entanglement, his pick-me, or his side piece. Even Chris Cyborg couldn't resist joking that it felt like open season. One thing is certain, social media has shown her no mercy. A quick note, I kept Claressa Shields, Asia Wilson, and Chris Cyborg in their correct real-world spelling since those are actual public figures being referenced. Let me know if you'd rather I match your original spelling exactly instead. Also, since the duck hunting season line reads as a paraphrase from something Cyborg said rather than presenting it as an exact quote.
We riding with the yeah, we riding with the yeah, we got the, oh yeah, we got the top down today.
I just finished watching Funky Dineva's breakdown, and he definitely didn't pull any punches. As I listened, there were a few points I found myself nodding along to, but I also picked up on some spots that needed a bit more context. So that's exactly what we're doing here today. Where I think he raises a fair point, I'll say so. Where I think he's off base, I'll explain why. None of this is meant as a personal jab. It's simply a breakdown of the opinions floating around. For anyone who wants to pull up the clip themselves, his comments began around the 55 to 56 minute mark of his June 30th livestream. In that portion, he reads out Papoose' post claiming Claressa should have won the BET award, then shares his take on the situation and how people have responded to it. I'll start by walking through what Funky Dineva actually said, and then I'll add my own perspective where I think some extra context is needed. One of his central arguments was that Claressa has a likability problem. In his view, she's someone a lot of people simply find hard to warm up to, and he raised the question of whether that public perception played into how the BET award outcome has been discussed. But Funky Dineva didn't stop there. He went on to argue that a major reason Claressa draws so much criticism is that, in his opinion, plenty of people just don't feel a connection to her. His take is that the backlash isn't really about one award at all. It's about the broader impression she leaves on the public. He also pointed out that she gives social media plenty of ammunition by engaging so frequently online, which makes it that much easier for every fresh controversy to pick up steam.
To like. She's hard to like, and I'm not sure if her likability was a factor in her getting the award or not, but I can confidently say the reason why the general public does not share your same disappointment or outrage for Claressa Shields not winning is because the vast majority of us don't care what she wins or what she doesn't win because she's just not likable, okay? And in this life,
To back up his point, he shared a personal story from his college years. According to him, he learned early on that being well-liked can open more doors than qualifications alone ever could. His belief is that people are naturally more willing to go out of their way for someone they genuinely like. Meanwhile, someone with strong credentials can still struggle if they never build that same connection. Fair or not, he sees that as simply how people tend to operate. He also brought up a lesson instilled in him by his family growing up. Rather than tearing one person down to elevate another, they believed in lifting people up without putting anyone else beneath them. Turning back to Claressa's recent public moments, he argued that a lot of the headlines and online exchanges have made it harder for people to get behind her or see her in a more favorable light. He went so far as to say, figuratively speaking, that Claressa needs to step out of the spotlight for a while and fully rework how she presents herself publicly. In his view, she comes across as someone who could use more self-confidence, particularly when it comes to handling social media. He believes she'd be better served by building that confidence, showing greater self-assurance, and resisting the pull to respond to every conversation happening online.
Keep her hair done.
Yes, bitch.
Okay?
Keeps it together.
I love when I get my hair done because now I'd be like, I like makeup, don't get me wrong, but I'd be like, no makeup is
You
needed.
don't need it.
Nope.
Natural beauty.
Funky Dineva kept building on his argument from there. According to him, Claressa spends too much energy trying to fit an image that doesn't naturally suit who she is. He claims she's chasing that Instagram model aesthetic, aiming for a polished, baddie look, but in his opinion, it just doesn't land as authentic. He also brought up her attempts to step into the fashion world, even though he doesn't think that's where her strengths lie. He was particularly critical of her style choices, saying a number of her outfits miss the mark and don't leave the impression she's likely going for. He even described her as coming across rough around the edges, arguing that she doesn't project the kind of softness or femininity that many people associate with influencers or public figures. He used sharper language than this during his actual live stream, but I'm keeping the wording clean here while still capturing the point he was making. His overall argument was that Claressa shouldn't be measured against the heavily curated personalities who dominate Instagram, because in his view, she's simply a different kind of public figure altogether. He also called her ignorant at one point, adding yet another layer to his criticism of how she carries herself.
Lesson for all of y'all, because what Claressa Shields is going through with these BET Awards is an example of something that I went through in college, and I learned this lesson the very hard way that hurt my feelings. Being liked will get you far more further than being qualified. Being liked will get you further than being qualified. Being liked will get you further than being qualified. People will move mountains for people that they like. People will adjust job descriptions and requirements for people that they like. People will overlook transgressions for people that they like. Claressa Shields is hard to like, Papoose.
And this right here is a lesson for all of you. Because what Claressa Shields is dealing with around these BET Awards is something I personally lived through back in college, and I learned it the hard way, in a way that genuinely stung at the time. Being liked will carry you further than being qualified. Being liked will carry you further than being qualified. Being liked will carry you further than being qualified. People will move mountains for someone they like. People will bend job descriptions and requirements for someone they like. People will look past mistakes for someone they like. And Claressa Shields, plain and simple, is a hard person to warm up to. At the same time, Funky Dineva was quick to acknowledge that there's a genuine double standard between men's and women's boxing. He pointed out that male athletes are often given far more leeway, even after behavior that draws criticism, and still end up landing major opportunities, awards, and public support. Women, he argued, rarely get that same benefit of the doubt. In his view, this isn't just a boxing issue, it stretches across countless professions. He added that women, and especially black women, are frequently held to a higher standard, expected to be more polished, more careful, and to work considerably harder just to receive the same recognition and respect that others get more easily.
We would have a lot more greats in the world if they understood that discipline is the key. Consistency. People like to do stuff 3 times in a row, 4 times in a row, 5 times in a row, and like, oh, well, where's my reward? It was like, try 60 days.
Funky Dineva also argued that Claressa Shields' biggest missteps was publicly coming after Laila Ali. In his opinion, Laila represents the gold standard in women's boxing when it comes to professionalism, class, grace, and building a respected brand that extends well beyond the sport itself. He believes she's the blueprint many fighters should follow if they're aiming for long-term success. He went on to say that Laila Ali has earned a level of respect that very few athletes ever reach. From his perspective, going after someone with that kind of legacy didn't do Claressa any favors. If anything, he feels it hurt her own image, since Laila is someone with years of credibility, strong industry relationships, and a reputation that opens doors. His argument was that forming a positive connection with someone like Layla could have created real opportunities instead of unnecessary conflict. According to Funky Dineva, those kinds of relationships could have led to major brand partnerships, bigger business ventures, and access to influential circles that reach far beyond prize money earned in the ring. He believes that kind of exposure can be just as valuable as winning championships, especially for someone trying to build a lasting career outside of boxing.
Hard to like. Now, my mama told me never tear nobody down without extending a hand to lift them up. I'm finna give you the key. Now, whether you choose to take it and unlock the door, that's up to you and Claressa. The reason that Claressa Shields is hard to like is because she's in that category of celebrities that I call people we should not know personally.
He also circled back to a point he's made before, that Claressa keeps handing people online fresh reasons to criticize her. In his view, the more she engages publicly, the more fuel every controversy gets, which makes it that much harder to move past whatever the latest headline is. To make his point, he brought up Beyoncé as a contrast. He noted that fans genuinely know very little about her personal life, simply because she rarely puts it out there online. What the public mostly sees are carefully selected images from performances, major events, album drops, or tour announcements. Outside of that, Beyoncé keeps a large portion of her private self away from public view. Funky Dineva suggested that holding those kinds of boundaries can actually work in a public figure's favor. He went on to point to Beyoncé again as an example of how certain celebrities carefully manage exactly what the public is allowed to see.
A year of never missing a gym. Try eating healthy every single day for 6 months. And also on top of working out and drinking your water and taking your supplements, and then see what happens. So I'm one of the people that know that sacrifice and consistency and discipline wins fights.
He said fans had a much clearer sense of her personality back in Destiny's Child years and in the early stretch of her solo career. But after the controversy surrounding her pregnancy with Blue Ivy, including that viral moment from the Diane Sawyer interview that set off endless online speculation, he believes something shifted for good. According to him, the whole situation generated so much noise, music, that Beyoncé gradually pulled back from letting people into her personal life at all. Whether fans were debating the rumors or trying to piece together what actually happened, the attention became too much to manage. In his view, that's a big part of why she rarely sits down for traditional interviews today, and why most people only get the carefully controlled public version of her, rather than any real glimpse into who she actually is.
You hoes done did. I done did that.
You got a bag phone?
What you gonna make this year? I done spent that. That bacon made it China. He better take that shit back. Hoes can't kick me out their head. They trying to get that ring back. Oh, hold on.
Bringing the conversation back to Claressa Shields, Funky Dineva argued that she'd benefit from taking a similar approach, just applied to a different focus. In his view, her energy should stay centered on boxing, training, preparing for fights, making official announcements, and speaking in interviews about her career inside the ring. Everything outside of that, he argued, tends to create distractions that end up overshadowing what she's actually accomplished. He also made the broader point that no one can realistically be everything to everyone. In his view, people are usually remembered for the talent that made them successful in the first place. And he believes Claressa's greatest strength is, without question, her boxing career. That's the lane where she's already built an incredible resume and earned recognition on a global scale.
There's a small group of celebrities that we should not know personally. We should only know them for their art, for their craft. Claressa is one of those. We don't need to know her personally because everything she's shown us personally is off-putting.
Funky Dineva's overall message came down to this. Claressa seems too focused on chasing an image that exists outside the sport. He argued that she's trying to compete in spaces that had nothing to do with why people started supporting her in the first place. As he put it, your crown is boxing. In his opinion, her championships, her achievements, and her reputation inside the ring are what truly set her apart, and he questioned why she'd trade that identity for one built around trends or online attention. Funky Denver summed it up by saying that in his view, Claressa keeps eyeing the success other people have and wanting to wear their crown instead of fully owning her own. If someone's known as a social media baddie, he believes she wants that image too. If another woman is celebrated for being a devoted wife, he says she wants that as well. If fashion influencers are pulling attention, he argues she wants in on that world too. And if musicians are dominating the spotlight, he feels she wants a piece of that as well. His point at its core was simple. Chasing every trend can pull you away from the lane where you've already proven yourself. I'll admit that's one part of his commentary I actually agree with. His argument was that Claressa has accomplished more in boxing than most athletes could ever dream of. Yet those accomplishments sometimes get overshadowed because she's focused on building an entirely different image. He also suggested that a lot of the lifestyles people chase online are built around appearance, image, and public validation, rather than lasting achievement. According to Funky Denver, unless she doubles down on the sport that made her a champion, these same conversations are likely to keep repeating themselves. He believes the cycle won't end as long as the focus stays on online attention instead of boxing. And honestly, I can see why he views it that way. That said, I think there's one important piece missing from his overall argument. Setting everything else aside, A'ja Wilson had an outstanding year and built a genuinely strong case for winning that BET award. Regardless of how anyone feels about Claressa, it's only fair to recognize A'ja's accomplishments on their own merits. I'd also point out that this isn't the first time the conversation around this award has shifted towards criticizing the winner after the results were announced. And in my opinion, that takes attention away from the person who actually earned the honor, which isn't the direction this conversation should be going. Another point worth addressing is Claressa's public association with Pap. He's still viewed through the lens of a highly publicized relationship history, and whether people think that's fair or not, that topic continues to follow the conversation and remains one of the biggest reasons she keeps facing criticism online. Plenty of people simply aren't willing to support relationships they believe started under controversial circumstances, and that perception has become part of the broader public discussion. Looking at everything Funky Denver said, I found myself agreeing with a lot of his overall message. The one thing I felt was missing was more recognition for A'ja Wilson. She put together an incredible run and built a resume that made a very strong case for that BET award. And regardless of anyone's opinions on the rest of it, her accomplishments deserve to be acknowledged on their own merits. Funky Denver also brought up brand opportunities and endorsements, but when you compare public visibility and commercial partnerships side by side, there's still a noticeable gap, which is exactly why building the right public image can matter just as much as success inside the ring. At the end of the day, though, I think both Claressa and Pap would benefit from putting less energy into reacting to social media and focusing more on what they can actually control, instead of getting pulled into every online debate. It's also hard to ignore that plenty of viewers have pointed out how different Pap's public approach seems now compared to years ago. That contrast has become part of the conversation, and it's one more reason people keep analyzing his every move. Whether that changes over time remains to be seen. That's all for today's video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree with Funky Denver's take, or do you see it differently? If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone who follows this story, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next upload. Stay safe, everyone.